Welcome to The Haunted Beard, everybody. My name is Jake. Thank you for joining me. Today, I want to talk to you about 5 hidden gem mystery movies that I definitely think are worth your time. Before I get into it, though, I just want to give a quick shout out to my patrons. Thank you guys so much for helping support the channel and help growing the beard. I greatly appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Lastly, before I get to the list, I'm sure you're wondering where you'll be able to watch these. And so down in the description, I have put where they are all available and the streaming sites you can find them at. So that being said, let's do it. So first up on the list is a film called Brick. And this came out in 2005, stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Lukas Haas, and this is actually the feature film debut of director Rian Johnson. He also wrote the film as well, and I'm sure you probably know Rian Johnson as he is better known for some of his latest mystery films, Knives Out and Glass Onion. But I actually slightly prefer Brick to those movies, as good as they are, as Brick kind of cuts out the sort of comedic, lighthearted tone and just goes straight for like a dark crime mystery thriller. And Brick is really a great detective story. And what's even cooler is that it all takes place in the world of this high school. And so Joseph Gordon-Levitt is the main character. He plays a guy by the name of Brendan. And his ex-girlfriend has recently disappeared, and so he has to go investigate sort of the underbelly of the high school that he attends to figure out what exactly happened to her. And this is such a great film with such a great mystery and story, lots of good twists and turns, really memorable characters as well. And the writing in this one is really great because here you have these high school students delivering this like hard-boiled 1930s detective style dialogue, but it just works so well and it really makes this thing feel fresh and unique. And so if you haven't seen Brick, I can't recommend it enough. It is great. Next up on the list is The Pledge. This came out in 2001 and stars Jack Nicholson, Aaron Eckhart, and Benicio del Toro. This one actually was directed by Sean Penn. And this one tells the story of a retiring police detective played by Nicholson who promises to find the killer of this young girl. In addition to being a really compelling mystery, this one's also a really good kind of dark drama and really a character study as well, as a lot of it focuses on Nicholson's character and sort of him kind of dealing with the decisions that he makes and you know where his life has led him to. This one too has an incredibly memorable scene from a cameo performance by Mickey Rourke. And man, when you see it, you will never forget it. It is a powerful scene. This is a darker film. It packs a punch. The ending is definitely memorable. So if you're in the mood for something a little bit heavier, but still a really solid mystery thriller with some good drama in there, The Pledge will not disappoint. Next up on the list is Death Trap. This came out in 1982, and this stars Michael Caine and Christopher Reeve. And this is one I just watched for the very first time yesterday. And man, this was a pleasant surprise. I thoroughly enjoyed this film. This one is a bit more lighthearted as there is some dark comedy in there, but it is still a really solid kind of psychological mystery. And Death Trap is actually based on a stage play. And it tells the story of Michael Caine, who actually plays a playwright in the movie. And he is sort of down on his luck, struggling. His latest play just completely bombed. Well, he receives a play in the mail from Christopher Reeve's character, who is this young up-and-coming amateur, and he wants Caine to kind of help him develop and finish writing his play. This one was directed by Sidney Lumet, who you may know directed classics like 12 Angry Men and Dog Day Afternoon. But he actually directs this almost like a stage play. There's a lot of kind of wide angle shots, extended takes that he really just lets the actors shine and really kind of puts them front and center. And in a lot of scenes and sequences, you feel like you would if you were just sitting there in a theater watching it. And I'll just say this thing goes in some very unpredictable and unexpected directions. I will tell you, avoid the trailer. I'm not going to edit in any trailer clips into this, as I think it is borderline spoilerish. And so this thing has a handful of twists and turns that I do not think you will see coming. And man, I just had a great time with Death Trap. So check it out. Next up is a film called Black Bear. This came out just a few years ago in 2020, and this one stars Aubrey Plaza and Christopher Abbott. And this tells the story of a couple who entertains an out-of-town guest looking for inspiration in her filmmaking. The group quickly falls into a calculated game of desire, manipulation, and jealousy. And this is a very unconventional mystery, as there is no murder or crime committed or anything like that. But rather, the mystery comes in terms of how the film is presented. And so there is a very significant kind of psychological component to this, to where you're kind of trying to piece the puzzle together. And this is a film that really had me hooked, and trying to kind of figure out how it all kind of fits together and comes together, I found really captivating and very interesting. The performances here, especially by Plaza and Abbott, are really solid as well. This one also has kind of a smaller scale, almost a stage play-like presentation, as it virtually all takes place at this small little cabin in the mountains. And so, yeah, a very unconventional one, very different. This one may have you scratching your head a little bit, but you will not forget it, and you'll probably be thinking about it for quite a while after you finish watching it. So yeah, if you want something different, check out Black Bear. And finally, at number 5 is a film called God's Crooked Lines. This came out in 2022 and was directed by Spanish director Oriol Paulo. And that is a guy, if you like this movie, you definitely need to check out, because he has a handful of other mystery films that I think are well worth your time. In fact, I have an entire video on my channel dedicated to his entire filmography, so check that out. But God's Crooked Lines tells the story of a woman who infiltrates a psychiatric hospital to investigate a homicide. And man, the way this film is told in the story structure is so fantastic. And this is another heavy psychological mystery, as being that it takes place in this psychiatric hospital, man, you are going to be second guessing like almost everything that happens. If you like movies like Shutter Island, I can pretty much guarantee you're going to like this movie, as you get a lot of similar vibes between that film and this one. The lead performance by Barbara Lenny is also really solid. She carries this film so well. And this is another film that has one of my all-time favorite tropes, where there is this potential unreliable narrator, where you're really sort of bouncing back and forth to where you're not sure if what you're being presented with is reliable and trustworthy. And, you know, you're just going back and forth. And man, there's twists and turns. It will keep you guessing right up until the very end. If you haven't seen God's Crooked Lines, man, check it out. It is great. All right, there's 5 for you, but I have one bonus pick. And the reason why this is a bonus is because I'm not sure if this is maybe technically a hidden gem or not, but it is a film that I think is exceptional and definitely worth watching, and is probably underseen. And that is Anatomy of a Fall. And this is a French film that just came out last year. It was actually nominated, I think, for a couple Academy Awards, including Best International Film. And so it is a little more well-known, but I have a feeling, probably at least in the States where I'm from, it is underseen and needs to be seen, because it is fantastic. This, along with Oppenheimer last year, were my 2 favorite non-horror films. I cannot recommend this enough. The lead performance here by Sandra Hüller is phenomenal. She is so freaking good in this movie, as she plays a wife who is suspected of murder after her husband's death. And this, in addition to being a mystery, is also a bit of a courtroom legal thriller as well. This is one that has so many interesting and thought-provoking ideas and themes woven into its central mystery, as it really deals with sort of the nature of truth, at least in terms of kind of eyewitness testimony. And it also kind of looks at the complexities of marriage and relationships, as a lot of testimony is being brought up in the court case, and you're kind of really seeing different perspectives. Every story has 2 different sides, and this film really looks at that and how kind of differing perspectives can affect people's understanding of what is true and what isn't. A lot of kind of moral and ethical dilemmas and stuff like that in here as well. I'll just say this, don't go into this one expecting easy answers, and I will leave it at that. But man, if you haven't seen Anatomy of a Fall yet, it's pretty great stuff, so definitely check it out. Well, that concludes my list. If you've got any hidden gem mystery film recommendations, hit me up down in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. I'm always looking for new mystery movies to watch. I absolutely love them. And so, yeah, let me know down below. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you got anything out of this video, go ahead and do me a favor and do not click that subscribe button unless you want to be haunted by the beard.